Have you ever thought about what it would be like to have a career at NASA? What do you think you would be doing? This year, COSI is partnering with NASA to highlight some of the many different career paths available. Join us as we hear from experts who are willing to share a little bit about their careers with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Frank Kaufhold, and I am a construction project manager with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, also known as NASA. I work at the Glenn Research Center, which is in Cleveland, Ohio, and my job is on the fixing and building path. Now, when most people think of NASA, they think of the astronauts that are actually riding on the rockets, whether it's to the International Space Station or even to the moon. There are many types of jobs at a large organization like NASA. Some examples are, like I mentioned, the astronauts that ride on the rockets. Additionally, there are technicians and mechanics that build the rockets. And then there are people like me, as a construction project manager, who build houses for rockets, as well as roads for rockets, and buildings where people work on rockets and design rockets. There are really two main parts of my job: the part that takes place in an office and the parts that take place on a construction site. While I'm in the office, my main tool would be my computer. On my computer, I'm able to put together spreadsheets and read emails and communicate with all the different members of my project team. When working on a construction site, safety is very important, from your head all the way down to your toes. For your head, you need to make sure you're wearing your hard hat. In addition, for your hands, gotta make sure you're wearing your handy dandy gloves. To protect your eyes, you wanna make sure you're wearing your eyeglasses, your safety glasses. In order so that everyone can see you, you should be wearing a bright color on your safety vest. And then, like I said, protecting all the way down from your head to your toes, you need to make sure that you're wearing your work boots. My job as a construction project manager is an example of a STEM job. As you might know, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. My job includes all four of the aspects of STEM, but most specifically, the E in STEM, which stands for engineering. And from college, I graduated with a degree in civil engineering. In my career as a construction project manager, I've built many different types of things, from roads and bridges, to houses, and even skyscrapers. But what I love most about my job at NASA is I've been able to combine two of my favorite things, which is building and construction and working with astronomy and space. As a kid, two of my favorite things were building Legos and looking at the stars. That's why when I was a kid, I will build Legos like this of the space shuttle. I'd like to thank you all for listening to my video. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about what it's like to be a construction project manager at NASA.
Thank you to the experts at NASA for sharing insight into their careers. And be sure to check out today's COSI Connects activity.